Hey fellow explorers, I just got back from 5 nights in Las Vegas over New Year's Eve, and in this first live stream of 2024, I'm gonna answer all of your questions about what Las Vegas is like right now. We're doing this live, so I'll take your questions live. I've also got a list of about 20 questions that people asked beforehand, so I'll probably alternate between the two. First, let's go ahead and start with a question from B. Harris. The question is, are resort fees higher? Resort fees in Vegas, they keep going up, and yes, they are higher in 2024. How high, you ask? Up to $45 a night. Yes, $45 at the Wynn, at the Venetian, the Circa. Many of like the premium hotels are now at $45 a night plus tax. So you add tax to that, and then it works out to be about $51 a night you expect to pay on top of the room rates. What's also going up? Parking fees are going up. Expect to add about $20 a night for parking. So yes, the extra fees are going up. The second question from Jodan says, Chris, I can't watch the live stream because I'm in Liverpool, England, but tell me about the extra hotel fees. They're putting me off. Well, we just talked about the resort fees. We talked about the parking fees, and in Las Vegas, you add also 13% hotel taxes, and that's how you get your total price of the hotel room. Professor Fear says, do the crowds make Las Vegas difficult to enjoy? I mean, not for me. I guess I'm used to the crowds. I also think you can pick times when it's not that busy. Now, if your question is, Chris, what about the crowds on New Year's Eve? This was my first time celebrating New Year's Eve in Las Vegas, and definitely it's really busy, like really, really busy for New Year's Eve. I mean, that's probably like the busiest time on the Las Vegas Strip is New Year's Eve. 400,000 people descend on the Strip, but there's enough room out on the Strip for all this. I mean, the crowds don't move after about 11:45 because there's so many people out there, but you find your spot, enjoy the fireworks, go back in. So I did not find the crowds making it too difficult to enjoy, unlike maybe some place like Disneyland or Disney World where you're like, oh, I can't even get on the rides because the waits are all 3 hours. You know, Vegas, there's still plenty to eat, see, and do. Tons of people can always fit in front of the Bellagio fountains or the Mirage volcano. All right, thank you for that question, Professor Fear. Yip Animation asked earlier, what is your favorite and what is your least favorite hotel in Las Vegas? And I'll give you two of my favorites, the Wynn and the Venetian, which I both stayed at on this trip. I really enjoy them for different reasons. I enjoy the massive rooms at the Venetian. I enjoy kind of the over-the-top luxury at the Wynn and the attention to detail on everything. Full reviews, updated reviews coming out on those two properties in the future. What's my least favorite hotel? You know, the one that's really easy to pick on is the Circus. Just, it never gets better. It is like, it looks exactly like it did when I went there as a kid, and I wish they would replace the carpet. They did make it more pink, though, so we've got that going for it. DVO adds that the resort fee as of today at the Palms is $44. There we go. That's what it is. All right. Point Traveler says, Chris, do you enjoy gambling? To an extent. I don't enjoy losing money, so I only gamble a little bit to whatever I'm comfortable losing. Because I ultimately realized that Vegas wasn't made on winners. Vegas was absolutely made on losers. You know, I think on this trip I gambled about $100 split over 5 slot machines, something like that. When you watch my How Much Does Vegas Cost in 2024, I'll detail exactly how much I put in the slot machines, but I enjoy the mini games, things like that on the slot machines, so that's where I have my fun. All right, Neil asked before, Chris, is the $20 bill trick a thing? And so for those of you who don't know about the $20 bill trick, the way the $20 bill trick works is you take a $20 bill, you fold it up kind of like this, and then when you check in, you put your ID on top and your credit card on the bottom, and then you hand it to the person you're checking in with, and you say something like, hey, if you have any upgrade rooms, I'd really appreciate it. And, you know, the interesting thing about this is, I mean, I guess the real answer is your mileage may vary, and depending upon the person behind the counter, you may get an upgrade and you may not. But when I was in Vegas on this trip, I ran into some fellow explorers at the Circus. They didn't check into the Circus. They stayed at a different hotel, but they told me that they gave $20 in their sandwich and they got a room upgrade. So it worked for them, and somebody else who was checking in who didn't put the $20 in didn't get a room upgrade. So legitimately, the $20 bill trick is absolutely a thing. .C asks if I live in California. I do. Orange County, California. That was an easy question. Keep them easy. I like them easy. Alex asks, top 3 fine dining and top 3 fast food casual besides In-N-Out Burger and Earl of Sandwich, because I guess everybody knows I love In-N-Out Burger and Earl of Sandwich. Fine dining, Mastro Steakhouse, number 1. Buffet, I consider buffet fine dining. At Caesar's Palace, the Bacchanal Buffet, I think it's pretty fine. And Lotus of Siam for Thai food. Those are my 3 favorite kind of sit-downy places. My 3 favorite fast food places. First place gets 2, I put breakfast up here. Egg Slut over at the Cosmopolitan for the breakfast sandwiches. I also like the egg sandwiches at Suns Out, Buns Out at Resorts World. I think they're equally good as to Egg Slut. Hattie B's at Cosmo in the Block 16 food court for the Nashville hot chicken, fried chicken there. And at the New York, there's 2 spots I really like. The pizza place in the Village Shops. They do pizza by the slice, and they do square pan Sicilian pizza. That's really good and not too expensive. And Greenberg's Deli for the pastrami. The pastrami at the New York, super delicious. They, slice it fresh for you. It's really good. DRM Free says the $20 trick worked for them at the Aria. All right, thank you for that data point. And Codge Full of Love says it did not work for me, was left embarrassed. You shouldn't leave embarrassed. You should consider gambling, just like in the slot machine. You put in $20, maybe it didn't work, but, it was there. Kel asks if I've been to the Aliante Hotel and Casino. No, not yet. Brian says my $20 trick is always chatting on the mobile app prior to arrival, asking for an upgrade and getting their name and letting them know I'll be giving them a nice tip for their efforts. Works 90%. All right, Brian, thank you for that tip. Renee says, how expensive is an average hotel in Vegas for 5 days cost? Renee, that is like nearly an impossible question to answer because the room rates in Vegas fluctuate so much, so much. I mean, for example, the Circus on December 20th can be $9 a night. Of course, you add $40 resort fee, but we'll call it $9 a night. And then on December 31st, that same room at the Circus can be $300 a night. At the Venetian, an average room can be $200, $250 a night. But you go there during CES, the Consumer Electronics Show right now, and the room rates can be $1,000 a night. I think, and this is do you want average? I don't know. I feel like in Vegas, there's not much of an average. In Vegas, there's either lousy low end or up in the high end. And the middle tiers, not so great. But if you're not spending all that much in your room, I guess it's okay. And Jerry says, my question is, do you get the $20 back if it doesn't work, or do they keep it anyway? I think they keep it anyway. Yeah, Vegas is definitely a tipping town, so I think they keep it. Jim says, Chris, do you think Vegas is pricing itself out of reach for the middle class? Thank you, Chris. Definitely the prices in Vegas keep going up and up and up and up, for sure. I mean, at the point where a fountain soda at the Caesar's Palace costs $6. Is the point where they probably priced themselves out of the middle class. So I think definitely some parts of Vegas have. Oh, by the way, what's Chris drinking today? I've seen this as a few questions. Today, Chris is drinking a sugarcane juice. That's right, fresh pressed sugarcane juice. All right. Waka says, do you prefer shopping at the Miracle Mile shops, the Fashion Show Mall, or the Forum shops? As a stroll through, probably different than shopping. As a stroll through, I enjoy the theming of the Forum shops of the 3. I enjoy the fountains. I enjoy the sky. I don't love a lot of the stores in there. If I was legitimately going to be shopping, I think I'd probably shop for things at the Fashion Show Mall because I think there's more stores I actually enjoy. And for eating, I go to the Miracle Mile shops because I go there to eat at Earl of Sandwich. Laurel says, did you visit the Sphere? Of course I visited the Sphere. Yes, I saw the Postcard from Earth, the movie that's played in the Sphere. It's amazing. I booked the tickets 2.5 months ago, so I booked them for the $50 cheapest rate. Totally worth it. Would do it again. Would recommend it for you if you can get the cheap tickets. go see it. I did not see a concert there, so I don't know what like U2 or Taylor Swift or something is like in the Sphere, but the movie that they play in the Sphere, definitely awesome. Criminal asks if I stayed at the Durango yet. The Durango is the newest kind of like locals hotel in Vegas. I did a tour of the casino floor video. I have not stayed at the Durango yet. Art asks, are conventions still big in Las Vegas? Still. You know, they definitely waned over COVID, but I think they're coming back again. In Vegas this year, they were expecting a full crowd at CES, like back to pre-pandemic levels. At least the number of exhibitors are back to pre-pandemic levels. I don't feel the number of attendees are yet back to pre-pandemic levels, but certainly the companies that are spending a lot of the money, they are coming back again. Yeah, Professor Fear says, one way you can save some money is bring your own water and sodas to Vegas. Yes, I, stop at Costco and get a 40-pack of bottled water and put it in my car, bring it with me from Orange County, California to Vegas so I don't have to pay the expensive prices for bottled water there. Melissa is drinking grapefruit juice. Wow, that sounds sour. That's what that sounds. And Who's That Girl says on the $20 trick, she's had them give it back if they have no upgrades. All right, those are very honest people. Kat says, on this trip, did you go to any restaurants off the strip? Zippy's. Yes, I went to Zippy's off the strip. Zippy's, it's like the Hawaiian version of Denny's, like a Hawaiian diner. They opened their first location in Vegas. So that was the restaurant I ate off the strip. I pretty much spent most of my 5 days there on the strip, making content, filming new videos, doing New Year's Eve, that sort of stuff. And so other than my one evening that I went to the Durango and went to Zippy's, I stuck around the strip most of the time. Jerry says in those shops at the Miracle Mile, which are the shops at the Planet Hollywood, which have been remodeled recently, by the way, are for budget tourists. Forum and the fashion show are higher end. Daniel says, do you have any favorite Vegas rewards programs you prefer? I tend to be in the MGM rewards camp, mostly because I've been like a Hyatt Elite, which matched my status over to MGM. Now Marriott matches status over to MGM, so that's the kind of rewards program that I hang out in. I don't really like gamble enough to get great rewards, but I am a member of like probably every single hotel program on the strip because you can get like cheaper room rates if you're just like a member of the program and like put $20 in the slot machine when you go there. Then they're like, you've gambled here at least once. We'll give you cheaper deals on room rates. So there we go. Timothy Michael says, do you still use your Osmo Pocket 3 over all other cameras? Timothy, I don't know that I would say I've used my Osmo Pocket 3 over all other cameras ever. I like my Osmo Pocket 3, and I use it for when I'm doing the walking tours. So like I walked the entire strip on New Year's Eve. That was done with the Osmo Pocket 3. The Venetian tour is done with the Osmo Pocket 3. My What's New in Vegas video, where I'm like a stand-up talking head, then I use my Sony Handycam camcorder. When I do the Las Vegas Sphere experience, they don't let you take in any real cameras, and so then I'm just on my cell phone. So like if you watch that video and you're like, why is the quality of this not as good as the Las Vegas Strip one? Well, this is all I could take in. But for the walk and talks where I got like a lot of motion, then I really like the Osmo Pocket 3. Why don't I use it for the other ones when I'm shooting a lot, like hours in a day? Then having replaceable batteries and things like that is really useful. That the Osmo Pocket tends to run out of battery life for me too quickly. But if I'm not doing a long shoot, it's good. It doesn't have a zoom, so that's also where like it needs to be stuff that I don't need to zoom in. Sam says, what's the silliest thing in Vegas? I don't know. Vegas has a lot of silly things. I feel like the Seven Magic Mountains is very silly. If you don't know the Seven Magic Mountains, it is a art installation maybe 20 miles out from Vegas on the I-15. On your way to California, it is these 7 stacks of rocks that have been painted in a whole bunch of different colors. It's contemporary art. It's pretty silly. There's probably somebody who will say, like, Chris, it's not silly. It is perfectly artistic in these sorts of ways. It's silly. Who goes out to the desert and stacks these rocks on top of each other and paints them and thousands of people go a day to see it, so it's silly. Also, the people who stand in line to take a picture with the Welcome to Vegas sign, those people are silly because the wait to take a picture with that sign can be like an hour, where like every Vegas gift shop has that sign. So just take a picture of the Welcome to Vegas sign at a gift shop. James says, what's your interest in seeing F1 in Vegas? I would love to see F1 in Vegas, but I don't want to pay to see F1 in Vegas. So I would see F1 in Vegas if maybe like Pompsy, when he did his video on F1, like the Win like set him up and got him tickets to go there. I would legitimately go see F1 next year if somebody's like, Chris, we'll set you up, we'll get you the tickets, we'll get you press access, make a video, come see it. I'd go see it, but I don't think I'm willing to pay the rates. Professor Fear asked if I had a chance to go see Area 51 on this trip, and I did not make it over to Area 15 on this trip. Still one of my places in Vegas, but I didn't do it. Didn't do it this time. Boston Elevators asked about the Cosmopolitan. I guess that's why the Cosmopolitan has shown up on the Marriott website. The Cosmopolitan has always had a partnership with Marriott, and they haven't yet switched over to MGM Rewards, but yes, soon all of the MGM properties will be showing up on the Marriott website, and you'll be able to earn reciprocal rewards between MGM hotels and Marriott Bonvoy. We'll see what that actually looks like. And Kathy reminds you, if you are enjoying the live stream, please give it a thumbs up. Helps me out. Lets YouTube know you like it so they can share the video with more people and we can get more people in here. Art says, hey, do you think Reno will ever challenge Las Vegas for supremacy? I don't think so. I mean, this is another one. Will any city ever challenge Las Vegas for its supremacy? I think the closest contender to challenging Las Vegas to its supremacy is Macau in China. Macau is a really impressive place, and many of the Vegas casinos, like the Venetian and the Wynn, have outposts in Macau that are even bigger and even grander than their Vegas versions, but Macau doesn't have the same life and liveliness and just magic that makes Vegas happen. Macau seems very boring in comparison. Like, they took all the technical details of Vegas, but none of the flair and the messiness and things like that actually makes Vegas what it is. Boston Elevator says, what's the most hidden fee in Vegas? I feel like there's like a lot of restaurants and bars that often charge this hidden fee of something like, we add 4% surcharge for energy or health coverage or this and that. So it's like the 4 or 6% random fee that places tack on for no reason at all, other than they felt like the prices were too low and they didn't want to raise them. And so instead of raising them, they tack a note that says they just charge you more money. Awesome Reach says, do you think the Strip should build more hotels between the Strat and the Resorts World? They definitely should, because there's a whole bunch of land over there, and if you watched my walk that I did on New Year's Eve from the whole Strip, that section of the Strip, pretty shady, so it could use some new hotels over there. G-Town Monarch says, is the ventilation system at the Link better than the ventilation system at the Imperial Palace? I remember when my mom and stepdad had their wedding there, it was really smoky. It is not much better. It is a bit better, like they remodeled it, but the Link is definitely still the Imperial Palace with a bit of lipstick put on the pig, and so the air over there is not that great. Professor Fear points out that Alien Fresh Jerky in Baker is pretty silly. It is pretty silly, and I did make a video of Alien Fresh Jerky. I did like a walking tour of it because people said I should. I haven't published it yet, but I will, so. Janice says, good call on the Seven Magic Mountains, silly. And Kathy says, I've seen those rocks and I've done the Vegas sign too, and I must be silly. Kathy, you are silly, but that's okay. You're a koala. After all, koalas are pretty silly. I'm silly too, so I like silly people. Jerry says, the silliest thing are the timeshare people haggling everyone. Geez. Maybe that's the most annoying thing. Randy says, home's really affordable there. Would you have a vacation home there? I don't know that I would want the upkeep of a vacation home. Like, I kind of like when I go to Vegas to stay at the different hotels and just have them take care of the stuff, where if I owned a home there, I'd have to like maintain it and all those things, which I don't really want to do. Little Girl Law says, do you always drive from SoCal, never fly? Depends how long I'm gonna be there. So if I'm gonna be there for more than 2 nights, then I will drive. If I'm gonna be there for 2 nights or less, then I fly. Chris, do you really go? I have been like to conferences there, like NAB or things like that, where I've been there for one night. In that case, I'll, take Southwest Airlines out of John Wayne SNA Airport, like an hour flight to Vegas, take an Uber, take a taxi, wherever I'm going, go where I'm going, spend the night, fly back home the next day. So short trips, I fly. Long trips, I drive. This trip, in addition to just doing 5 days in Vegas, I split it up where I also went to the Grand Canyon, Bryce Canyon, and Zion Canyon, and then back to Vegas. So I really needed a car to do that. And yes, there will be a whole vlog coming out on I call it the Tri-Canyon trip of the 3 greatest canyons in the USA. Michelle says, talking about China, how do you use credit cards there being a US tourist? Alipay? So this is to say that it's been a long time since I've been to like mainland China. Most recent trips have been to Hong Kong and Macau, but I've not had any issues using Visa or MasterCard in Hong Kong and Macau as significant international cities. Yeah, Alex says like 8% COVID dining fee, right? These are like the typical just random fees. Like we need to make more money, so pay us more, please. Josh says, is homelessness on the strip getting better? Yes and no. I mean, here's the yes and no. Like, there are more tourists back again, and so you don't notice the homeless as much because there's more people, and so then there's more normals to not. I think they're still out quite a bit, and I think that what the hotels have done to like discourage them from coming into the hotels is a lot of hotels have a lot more security. Like they've always had security, right? They've always had people that like checked to make sure you weren't cheating the system and all that stuff. But now like they hire the rent-a-cops and like the yellow or red jackets to like stand by the door to, keep the homeless people from coming in the casino. Kel says, Chris, what's your favorite place for breakfast? Egg Slut or Suns Out, Buns Out. Those are my 2 favorite places for breakfast. Awesome says, yeah, I watched your walk. There's nothing past Circus, which I did not do live. In fact, you may think it's live stream because many people do their walks live streams. I didn't do it as live stream because I wanted it to be a 4K video, so that was recorded and uploaded after. Michael says, what's an off-strip attraction you want to check off your list? Which I have here as the question you submit. I haven't gotten to it yet, so I'll get to it now. Red Rock. I'd like to go back to Red Rock again. I haven't been there in a while. I've never made a video on the Red Rock Canyon hiking area. I'd also like to, I've been to the Hoover Dam to like look at it, but I've never done the Hoover Dam tour. I'd love to do the Hoover Dam tour. And you also asked before, what hotel has your eye for lodging next? Place I haven't stayed in a while that I want to stay at again, Caesar's Palace. I haven't stayed there in a long while, so Caesar's Palace is as a revisit on my list. And then the Waldorf Astoria. I stayed there when it was rebranding from Mandarin Oriental to Waldorf Astoria, not in the full rebranded remodel. So I'd like to go check it out now that the rooms have been rebranded all the way. Oh, Dear M. Free says, I shouldn't fly Southwest. I should fly Spirit Airlines, $20 each way. Great, until you got to check a bag, and then it's $400. Not that I would check a bag for a one-night thing, but yeah, Spirit makes all their money on fees. Amber says, yes, this is a good one too. The silliest thing in Vegas, the stupid boozy Slurpee cups. Toilets, Eiffel Towers, guitars, 3-foot tubes of sugary grossness. Hard pass. In my What's New in Vegas in 2024 video, I talk about the Arc Bar. You can get a alcoholic cup that's in the shape of an Eiffel Tower for like nearly $40 for your frozen slushy margarita. Like, it's too much alcohol for anybody to drink, and then you're stuck carrying that thing the whole day. So is it silly that they sell it, or is it silly that people buy it? Because they only sell it because people buy it. So there you go. Kathy says, wow, finally a video on the Grand Canyon. Lots of videos on the Grand Canyon. The whole vlog of the whole trip will be coming. A guide in the Grand Canyon. Also Grand Canyon West. So we'll have the Grand Canyon versus Grand Canyon West. I stayed at a couple different hotels, the Bright Angel, the El Tovar, so reviews of those. Grand Canyon versus Zion Canyon. So lots of content from this trip coming at you, just like Cleopatra. U2 Fan 82 says, have you checked out the Omega Mart in Area 15? Absolutely. I was there shortly after they opened. I have a full walkthrough of Omega Mart at Area 15. I think it's really neat. I enjoyed it. I probably spent 3 or 4 hours in there. It was pretty cool. KC says, do you like better the Encore or the Wynn? Is there a big difference in the room rates? The room rates are pretty similar, KC. I like the Wynn better. I feel like so these two hotels that are right next to each other, Venetian Palazzo, Wynn, Encore, the what they've both done is they had the original towers, Venetian had the Venetian, Wynn had the Wynn, and then they built second towers, and they're like, if there are people who don't really like our theme, we're gonna like theme these a little less. So the Encore, in my opinion, is a more modern Wynn, but like themed a little less. The Palazzo, same to the Venetian. I like the theming at the Wynn. I like the theming at the Venetian, so I don't know that I go for the little less all that much. Henry, thank you very much for your support. I appreciate it. Henry says, I hope your evening is going well. It is. Thank you very much. From your knowledge, do you see Las Vegas getting a new Major League Baseball team? Do you like watching sports? And if so, which ones? The Oakland Athletics are moving into Vegas. They're going to be getting a stadium at the Tropicana. The Tropicana is going to be no more, and then we'll have a baseball team there. 2027, 28, something time frame to see that. So, you know, Vegas really becoming a major sports city on like every aspect. And then the question of, do you like watching sports? And if so, which ones? Probably the sport I enjoy watching the most is surfing. I realize that it's not really team sport, and it's not really what you think of when you think of watching a sport, but as somebody who grew up in San Diego, I enjoy the ocean, I enjoy the water, and I love watching these people, particularly on big crazy waves, just bomb in there, things that I would never do. Yip Animation says, Chris, have you stayed at the Venezia Tower? Yes, actually on this trip I stayed at the Venetian in the Venezia Tower, so that's the room review that will be coming out. Eddie says, which hotel has the best air conditioning? Hard to say, really, but I feel like as you get into the more luxury hotels, the air conditioning gets better. The air conditioning at the Venetian and the Wynn, both very good. Also, the air conditioning at the Bellagio, very good. So those are ones I can put in the very good category. The ones that are not very good, you know, as much as I like my Marriott, Hilton chain hotels, I find that a lot of the Marriott, Hilton affiliates around the Strip, Homewood Suites, Residence Inn, have the world's worst air conditioners, the ones that you stick in the window and that they turn on and off all night. Like they turn on and they make the room cold, but then to save energy, they turn the fan off once the room's gotten cold, but then the room gets hot again 30 seconds later, and so you get this air conditioner that goes like, wow, wow, wow. Anyway, I hate those things. Little Girl Lost says, have you ever been there during Super Bowl weekend? I have not, and I probably won't. There was a question about, Chris, do you plan to go there for this coming Super Bowl? Probably not. Why not? I generally don't like to go to Vegas when it's really busy and really expensive, because I can go anytime because I don't live very far away. And so I generally tend to go during the cheaper times when there's less people there, because we can get cheaper room rates, we get better rooms, we don't have to spend as much time finding a parking spot, we don't have to make reservations at the restaurants, we don't have to wait in line at the buffet, so we generally tend to time our visits to the low season in Vegas. Wu Tai says, so Chris, tell me, the Sphere thing, is it good? It's good. The Sphere thing's good. It was really awesome. There are, you know, like Vegas shows, I mean, when people are like, Chris, what show should I see in Vegas? You know, it's always like, I don't know, you might like this one, you might like that one. I legitimately think the Sphere experience is really cool. However, the movie does have like this whole like environmental thing about like we've destroyed the earth, and I don't want to give the story away, but I could do without the kind of like the preachy environmental message on it. I'm all for saving the environment, by the way. It's like, it wasn't like a happy feel-good ending at the end of the movie, and I would have loved that more. Renee says, what's your favorite budget property? You know, budget can have a lot of different, you can have a lot of different levels of budget. But I would say one would be the Sahara, and I would say the Sahara just because it's kind of off the Strip, the room rates aren't that high, and it's connected to the monorail, so you can get from the Sahara to the rest of the Strip pretty easily. All right. Kat says, Chris, how far is it from home to get to Vegas? Did your family go to? It's about 4 hours. It's about a 4-hour drive from Orange County to get to Vegas. This trip, it was a solo trip. I went to Vegas. The girls went to Taiwan. So there we go. Robert asks if I had any trouble with the loud music from the nightclub at the Wynn. I did not have any trouble with loud music from the nightclub at my room at the Wynn. Gordon says, what do you think of Ka? I have not seen Ka. Wu-Tai says, I like the Sahara. All right, there's a +1 for the Sahara. Thank you for that, Wu-Tai. Greg says, does anyone even take the monorail? Surprisingly, a number of people take the monorail. The monorail, as much as it's easy to like hate or crap on the monorail can be really useful depending upon where you're staying and depending upon where you're going. If you're staying at the MGM Grand, it's really useful because it's one end of the monorail. If you're staying at the Sahara, it's really useful. If you're staying at the Westgate, it's really useful. If you go to the convention center, it's really useful. If you're in the middle of the strip trying to get around, not that useful. If you're staying at any hotel on the side of the strip with Caesar's Palace, the opposite side of the monorail, then it's worthless. So there you go. But I legitimately took the monorail on New Year's Eve twice. I took it once. So I was staying at the Venetian, and I walked next door to Harrah's, and there's a monorail station in back of Harrah's. So I took the monorail from there over to the MGM Grand, where then I walked across the street to New York, across the bridge to the Excalibur. Then I took the tram from Excalibur over to Mandalay Bay, and then I walked from Mandalay Bay all the way down to the Strat. And then when I was done to get back to the Venetian, I walked from the Strat back to the Sahara, where I got on the monorail again back to Harrah's and got to the Venetian. So those are the kind of things it is useful for. Henry, thank you so much for your support. Henry says, can you talk about some differences between Las Vegas and Macau nowadays? Thank you, Chris. Sure. You know, I should probably do like a whole video or live stream about maybe Las Vegas versus Macau. I don't know if I've done that, or if I did, I can update that. But I think some of the major differences between Las Vegas and Macau is the scope and scale of the entertainment in Vegas. And I feel like the entertainment and the shows and the grandness and also the way they do the outdoor shows, like the Bellagio fountains are like huge. And when they do things in Macau, they feel more soulless. Why is that? In Macau, the way the strip is set up there, they call it the Cotai Strip, the way their strip is set up, it is not really designed for you to walk from one hotel to another. They are spread out so far apart that you almost have to take buses to go to the hotel. So like every hotel in Macau has buses to go to the other hotels. So instead of going out and walking, you go to this bus lobby where then you take a shuttle bus to the other hotels. And so because of that, not lively vibrantness of people walking around, then there aren't that many people standing in front of the casinos, like looking at these shows. People aren't coming and going as much. People in Macau tend much more to like, they go there to gamble. So most of the people that go to Macau are from mainland China. You can't gamble in mainland China, so they go to Macau specifically to gamble. So like, they'll not leave the gambling table for 12 hours or something like that. And then in the Venetian that's in the Macau, they have this great bakery that sells these egg tarts, Lord Stow's Portuguese egg tarts. They're really delicious. But in Vegas, the Grand Canal shops are so busy and so lively. And in Macau, they're dead. They're dead. There's nobody in the shops. There's like 3 people in the shops, and they're all at the egg tart place. And Macau just has that a lot of feel. Like a lot of these areas, they built them big and grand, and there's just nobody there. I guess maybe they don't need to make any money in the shops because they make all their money on gambling. The other big difference between Macau and Vegas is Macau hates cameras. Oh, they hate cameras so much. They hate cameras. I mean, Vegas, they don't like cameras, but Macau, they hate cameras. Like so much that like no cameras, no pictures, signs plastered all over. One casino I went into, the Wynn, not on the Strip, but the Wynn in more like their downtown area. They actually, like, before you can go in the casino, they have like a bag check, and they looked through my bag and they saw a camcorder, and they took a sticker that said no camera, and they stuck it on my camera to like make it clear to me that, you know, like I could keep it with me, but like I can't use it right there. Gordon P says Macau is for money laundering. Macau is apparently for cheats too, who really want to try to figure out how to cheat the system. Wu-Tai says, I'd rather go to Vegas. Macau is nice looking, but you can get married at Denny's. You can get married in Denny's in Vegas. Absolutely right. Like that's the magic that I think makes Vegas happen. That you wouldn't get married at Denny's in Macau, even if there was a Denny's. And Carmen says, Vegas will obviously a special place in my heart. I got married there. At the Denny's, Carmen? At the Denny's? Where in Vegas did you get married? CTG says, I was in Vegas over the holidays. One thing I noticed was pretty much all the properties, just how much darker everything is compared to the videos of them that I watched. Interesting. I try not to increase the brightness of my videos, really, so I think that is interesting. I don't know, daytime, nighttime, which properties. Some are bright. If you go to the Durango casino, the new casino, it's actually really bright because they have like a lot of natural light that goes in there. So, Wu Taiwan says Caesar's Palace hates cameras big time. I get it that many people do that. U2 says, you ever stay at South Point, my favorite place? I have not stayed at South Point. I've been there. I think like all the bowling alleys. Like the place is like 100 bowling alleys. Super crazy. And some of the cheapest hot dogs you'll find on Las Vegas Boulevard. Yeah, and Heidi Key says the fact they stuck an actual sticker on is crazy. Crazy. Yeah, true story. True story. There's one where like if it was today, I was still early in my YouTube career. If it was today, I definitely would have then like taken it onto my cell phone and like gotten a picture or something of that sticker on the camera. It was so like out of this world. Greg says, do you have any favorite places in downtown Vegas? I like the Circa Hotel in downtown Vegas. There's a pizza place too that I forget the name of that's pretty solid in downtown. I probably only go downtown every other trip to Vegas, so this trip was not one of the trips I went to downtown, but I do need to do a revisit of the Fremont Street experience. I also really enjoy the container park that has the fire-breathing praying mantis, and not really around the Fremont Street experience, but I also really like the Neon Museum downtown. Cool place for selfies and to see all the neon. Jake says, are there still coin machines in OG Vegas? Only at the Circus Circus. If you want coin machines, they're at the Circus Circus. They're not real coins. Well, I mean, they're not dollars, they're tokens. Like you exchange a $10 bill, a $20 bill, or $100 bill for these dollar token coins, and then you play with them and they drop out, and then you can exchange the tokens for real money at the end. So you still get the like ching 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 ching, but only at the Circus Circus. That's the one thing, two things Circus Circus has going for it. Professor Veer says, have you ever been to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum? Not yet. Should I? Should I go there? Is it cool? Peter says, agree, Neon Museum at night is awesome. Indeed. And Criminal says, I live right next to Durango Casino. I really enjoy the place with their amazing food court and classy look. Alex Jossie just commented that he's been a Explorer supporting the channel for 7 months. Thank you very much for your support, Alex. I appreciate it. Art asks, I don't know if he's asking me or somebody else if you smoke cigarettes in Las Vegas. I don't smoke, but yes, plenty of people smoke cigarettes in Las Vegas. And Zachary says there's an old school horse machine that uses coins at the D2. All right, thanks for that tip. Next time I go there, I need to seek out that machine at the D. And a lot of people said I need to check out the Haunted Museum. So, all right. And Professor Fear, the man of haunt, would probably say that too. All right. One of the pre-questions I got was from Fiona. If you only have one night in Vegas, which bar do you definitely go to visit? Not a bar, but I guess kind of a club. I think my favorite club on the Strip is Drai's. It reads like Dries, D-R-A-I-S. It's on top of the Cromwell. It has like super neat views of the Strip because it's a tall building and it's right there. And because it has like a big outside section that it doesn't have to be all smoky, you can get away from the loud music. I sound like someone who has a lot of fun in a club, right? But yes, Dre's is my favorite up at the Cromwell. Sarah says, what are the best happy hours on the Strip? There are so many happy hours on the Strip, but one place I'd recommend for happy hour is the Pepper Mill. The Pepper Mill is an old school diner that's over by Circus Circus, Resorts World, Fontainebleau, like over in that area. Think of it as like a Denny's that has like mirrors everywhere and purple and pink neon. It's a really trippy place, and they do a cool happy hour from 3 to 6 p.m. Jerry says, how long do you think Circus Circus can keep this up? I don't know. It amazes. People keep coming to Circus Circus. People keep staying there for their $19 come-on rates. I think if they did a renovation, they could like legitimately make real money instead of whatever they're making right now to squeak by on, that's why they can't replace the carpet, I think, because they're charging $9 room rates. So I really, as someone who did enjoy Vegas as a kid, Circus Circus as a kid before it turned into what it is now. When the carpet was actually new, it was kind of a cool place. And now it's just a place of like sadness and despair. Zachary Smith says, I would love to see a video with Electric Rick, my dad, in Vegas with at Yellow Productions. Thank you for the suggestion, Zachary. Carmen says, Circus is gross. It is gross. The Horde gives a +1 for happy hour at Brewdog. All right, thank you. That's a new bar that's over by like the Target that's on the Strip, up on the top. Yeah, and I know, who is it? Tanya and Dave, Turn It Up World for New Year's Eve. They did a whole bunch of like New Year's Eve live stream up on top of Brewdog, so that's a neat venue. Riff Raff says, do you have any collabs with other Vegas vloggers in 2024? And Riff Raff, you may have asked this before, somebody else did. Chris, did you collab with anybody while you were there? And the short answer is no, only because it takes so much time. Like, it takes so much time to like meet up and do this and do that. And I had all these videos that I wanted to make and not enough time, and so no, I didn't meet anybody in 2024. Nothing that I recorded in the last 2 weeks. That doesn't mean I won't do any collabs in the future, but none at this point. I'm sure there will be collabs with other people in 2024, but not from the last week. Points Traveler, also, thank you for your support being Explorer for the last 4 months, and supporting the channel for like the last 10 years or something like that. Art says, while aren't there more Asian tourists in Las Vegas? I think there are a lot of Asian tourists in Las Vegas, but if you're like, why aren't there more? I don't know. Why aren't there more, really? You know, I feel like the big Chinese tour groups have yet to return, and they definitely loved the Circus, so they're still, you know, as a country, like the USA is still significantly down on tourism from China, Korea, and Japan. And so I think that's why we're not seeing them in Vegas, because we're not seeing them in the country as a whole. And when I went to this like US California travel industry conference a couple months ago, that was one of the things that like the US Travel Industry Association had like on the top of their list, to be like, we need to get those people to come back again, because they bring a lot of their money. It's good. It's good for us. Billy says a resort fee is higher in 2024. Yes! Significantly. $45 is the high water mark for the resort fee. Add taxes, $51 and something else. CDG says, I was an Asian tourist in Las Vegas. My sisters much preferred LA, specifically Disneyland. And I think that's certainly one reason why we might see less Asian tourists in Vegas, is places like Disneyland could be more fun and more safe. Where Vegas, you know, it's got a little bit of a, is it safe? Is it not safe? What are these people on the Strip like? This and that. Where, like, you know, there's a lot of fun to be had in the manufactured fun. As an annual pass holder since the age of 21 at Disneyland, I can appreciate some great manufactured fun at the Disney parks too. Zachary Smith says, if Circus sponsored you to go to F1, would you stay at the Motor Lodge? No, I have to draw a line someplace. Would I? You know what? This is where, like, I'd stay in the Motor Lodge to make another video on it, but I couldn't make an honest video of the Motor Lodge staying at the Circus. Like if the Circus sponsored me, boy, that wouldn't. And this isn't to say I can't make an honest video if it's sponsored, but I won't take a sponsored video to say something about something that I'm like, I can't do this with a straight face. Like, Wu Tai asked if the Hooters Hotel existed. Would you still stay there? It's the Oyo now, and I don't think it's much better. So, no, I don't think so. Yeah. Yip Animation says, I would take Disneyland any day over Las Vegas. Gambler says, what do you think has to happen for the Resorts World Fontainebleau area to be like the Cosmo Bellagio New Strip area? I think it has to fill in. You know, there's still like a bunch of these empty properties, and as long as there's like just a bunch of stuff with nothing on it, that part of the Strip will continue to be sort of, for lack of a better term. But not just there, but also like to the north of it too. There's sort of like nothing over to the north of it, right? Like the Cosmo Bellagio New Strip area is like the center of everything, right? You can go in every direction and there's stuff. And the Fontainebleau Resorts World, you know, they're kind of like kitty corner from each other, and then there's nothing in any direction. And people say like, Chris, there's the Sahara, or there's the Westgate, or not near, like not that you can just like walk across a bridge and be at the next one. So like not just 2 hotels, but like we need like 6 more hotels over there or something at the same scope as those, I think, to make that part of the strip as lively. When is that going to be? Well, none of them are being built right now, so 10 more years? I don't know, give or take. DRM Free says, Wynn needs to expand across the street. Sure, Wynn Encore. Maybe they need to build a 3rd tower or something like that. Alex says, speaking of Disney, let's petition to bring back Soarin' over California permanently. I enjoyed Soarin' over California. Good ride. Greg says, that's why I usually never go north of Encore. Nothing much to interest me, which I think is the typical perspective of most visitors to Vegas, which I think is why the Fontainebleau is suffering now, and I think is why the Resorts World has suffered in the few years it's been opened. Eddie says, do you trust the valet with your car nowadays? No. I mean, does that mean I'd never valet park my car? Begrudgingly. If I have a choice, I will self-park my car. I trust them more with it in a rental car because it's not my car. But I also don't like, I genuinely don't like the wait at valets. Like, especially like the Vegas valet system, which is like, they generally don't let you call it in ahead from your room. You have to like come down to the valet and you have to scan your ticket, and then it takes them like 15 minutes to get your car. 15 minutes I'm waiting around that I don't really want to. Where I'm like more okay with valets is a place like the Andaz Maui, where like it's all valet parking, but they just valet park the car around the corner, and so it takes them 1 minute to go get my car and bring it in front of me, and they're not really driving it much of anywhere. I do not enjoy valet parking. YouTube fan says, yeah, they should build a new baseball stadium at the north end to bring life to the area. Yeah, there's the, MGM Festival Grounds or whatever it's called, or used to be, or something like that. They need to build more things over there. Jerry Eats says, when is Vegas getting rid of resorts fees? That's a good question. We'd probably have to ask some like bigwig Vegas executives about that. But I would say unless the U.S. federal government or Nevada government mandates something banning resort fees, they're not getting rid of them. The reason why they like them is because hotels, when people book the hotel through a third-party booking site like Expedia or Hotels.com, the hotel pays a percentage commission of the booking to that third-party booking provider. Let's pretend it's 10%. And what they don't pay as a percentage to the booking site is the resort fee, because the booking site doesn't charge the resort fee. The hotel charges the resort fee when you check in directly. So if you book via third-party provider, which I did for this trip for the Venetian and the Wynn, I booked on planin.com, the rates were like I paid a certain portion when I booked the hotel, and then I paid the resort fees when I got to the property, which means the hotels don't pay a commission on the resort fees. So that's their like whole elaborate thing about like why they keep putting more and more in the resort fees and less in the room rate, because now if somebody books a $9 hotel room at the Circus, they're only paying, the Circus is only paying a 90-cent commission to the booking website, and then they're still charging a $40 resort fee that they don't have to pay a commission on. Cottage Love says that's smart business, sneaky business as it is, that makes all of us hate it, right? Like, just be transparent about the room rate. Come on. Art says, does anyone else find Expedia VIP to be useless? Never got an upgrade before in my life. I've never used Expedia VIP. What I do use and find works out well is if you're an Amex Platinum member making the fine hotels and resorts bookings, I've gotten significant upgrades with those rates. Yeah, Art says $9 hotel room. I know. It's like Circus should pay you to stay there. Alex says you get what you pay for. Indeed. Amber says resort fees have some sort of tax implication, tax differently. Used to. In the beginning of time in Vegas, that was right, but no longer. Resort fees are taxed today at the same rate that the hotel room rate is. Vegas caught on to that, and they're like, hey, that's money that you're pocketing that we're not getting taxes on, so you're taxing that too. Wu Tai says 2024, the year of the theft. Points Traveler says yes, and the hotel. Also click the resort fees if you use points. The exception if you stay at Hyatt's and you're like a top tier globalist or something, right? Then they waive the resort fee, they waive the parking fee, they waive all that stuff because Hyatt knows how to treat their customers when everybody else says like, I know you booked a free room, please pay us for it. Huh? What? Is that the point of this? All right. Greg asked here earlier, hey Chris, are there any neighborhoods in the city you would recommend to avoid, like Skid Row in LA? And so the areas I'd recommend to avoid is I would avoid walking between the Strat and downtown Vegas on the Strip. That section pretty sketchy. I would also be careful around downtown. Outside of the Fremont Street experience, like a few blocks away is okay, but you get much further than that, and it can be sort of dicey around there too. There's also a question about which months are the best to visit Las Vegas. Are April, May fine? And honestly, I feel like any time of year is a great time of year to visit Vegas. You know, it's like it never has a deep snow. It is super hot in the summer, but if you enjoy the pool, then go when it's super hot. When does Chris like to go? I usually go in November and December. Why? It's not too hot. 2, room rates are cheap. Not too many people there. Unless you're going when there's F1 right now. Or unless you're going to New Year's Eve. But if you're going like December, like before Christmas, or you're going around Thanksgiving when it's not F1, nobody else is there, and the room rates are exceptionally low. Wu Tai says, what about the cost of parking? Yeah, cost of parking at most of the Strip hotels is somewhere in the $18, $20, $23 a day rate for self-parking, and valet parking, you're looking to spend around $40 a day. So yes, that keeps going up too. At MGM properties, they did away with their they used to have like a rate. They used to have if you were there for less than an hour, it's free, and then if you were there from 1 to 4 hours, it was a certain fee. Now like you come in and it's $18. $18 for 0 to 24 hours. Okay, I see how it's gonna be. Professor Fierce says, what's the best spa in Las Vegas? I don't know. Because I've actually other than going to the spas and shooting some video of the outside of them, I don't really do spa. Chris doesn't get a lot of massages. So anyway, if fellow explorers, if you have visited a lot of spas, help Professor Fair out and let him know what is the best spa in Vegas. Leesry says, I don't worry about the resort fee. I just consider it part of the feed, so I don't worry about it. Can't change it. Get over it. That's what Leslie says. Wall Street Warlord says, what do you think of staying at the Hilton Grand Vacations? Just fine. I've not stayed at the Hilton Grand Vacations, but I think some of them can have good locations on the Strip. I mean, there's a few of them, right? So, not an issue. John Allen says, pre-recorded. Is this pre-recorded, John Allen? Could I put your comment in there? This was pre-recorded? Probably not. Chris David says, do you have stats with any of the casino loyalty programs? I am gold with MGM Rewards, so that one I have some status with. M says, is the Arts District a safe area? What would you do there? There's a few art galleries, and they do some art walks and things like that, but it's not like an amazing area, really. Just kind of like the LA Arts District. It's kind of like a weird neighborhood. I think they're trying to make more of the the Vegas Arts District, but there's the one fellow explorers, if Chris has got something wrong and you're like, Chris, the Arts District is cool because of this and that, then help M out. Michael says Pearl status at MGM gets free parking. Sure does. Also, if you have the MGM credit card, it gets free parking too. Brooklyn Joe says one of the best spas is at the Venetian. All right, thanks for the tip, Brooklyn Joe. DVO says some hotels even charge resort fees on comped rooms as an invited guest via the hotel. Crazy. Joe says, have you been to Area 15 in Vegas? Yes, I love Area 15 in Vegas. And actually, I had the opportunity to interview the chief creative officer of Area 15, the guy, not like the CEO, but the guy who designed the whole place and decided what it should look like. His name is Michael Benneville. I have the whole hour interview of him on the channel. You could search for it. Yellow Productions, Area 15 interview if you want to hear more about the behind the scenes of Area 15. Eddie says, did you eat at any of the Celebrity Chef restaurants? Which was the best one? On this trip, the only one I ate at was Chicken Guy by Guy Fieri. I had the chicken sandwich there, which I'm sure is not what you meant. Chris, did you eat at, Hell's Kitchen or something like that? I tend to not go to the celebrity chef restaurants because I feel like you pay a premium for the name that you don't necessarily get in the food. And I am looking forward to going back to eat at Peter Luger, which is from New York City. OC Girl said she really wants to eat there and said I couldn't eat there until we go back together. So that wasn't really what she said, but she was like, are you going to eat at Peter Luger without me? I'm like, no, I'm not going to eat at Peter Luger without you. Because it'd be weird eating at a high-end steakhouse by myself. Actually, that's not true. I eat at plenty of high-end places by myself, but that's one she wants to go to. And so that's one I will wait for until our next trip. Bobby Smith says, hey, I'm going at the end of the month. Did you happen to notice if the Halal Guys was still in the Caesars Palace food court? Bobby, you have come to the right place. I have information on that. Yes, Halal Guys is still, in fact, at the Caesars Palace food court. So if you like Halal Guys, you will still find it there. Alex says, what's your favorite celebrity chef restaurant in Vegas? You probably asked that before I started on my long diatribe about that. If I had to pick one, it would be like Gordon Ramsay's burger, like the one at Planet Hollywood. Yeah, there we go. Decent burgers. Mars 12. Did you do any gambling? If so, do you prefer slot machines or table games? I gamble a bit in the slots, so I prefer slots to the table games just because they're faster. I can lose my money quicker. So there we go. I like the mini games on slot machines. Janelle says, what is the last concert that Chris has been to? Last concert that Chris has been to. I probably have two answers to this. One, do you count my daughter's preschool concert where they sang Christmas songs? If you do, that was the last one. If you don't, then the last concert I've been to was with my dad, Electric Rick. We went to see Weird Al Yankovic in concert. I love Weird Al. If you didn't know, maybe you know. Criminal says, didn't you hate Peter Luger? I thought it was extremely overpriced. And yes, it is a video that I got the most hate on and a lot of views on because I said it was not the best steak in New York City. 10 years, 20 years, I'm willing to give it a try again. That's it. All right. Wall Street Warlord says, what about the new fines regarding stopping even for a moment on the Vegas crosswalk bridges? Did not really see that being enforced. Saw a lot of people stopped on the crosswalk bridges, still doing their busking, sitting down, selling water. I get that there's a new rule, but these new laws don't do anything if nobody enforces the new laws. The Young says, what's the best Vegas souvenir? Probably the Eiffel Tower margarita cup that you get with your $35 Eiffel Tower margarita. There we go. Raider says, have you had the chili at Zippy's? It is the best. I like the chili at Zippy's. Our Curious Princess, 4-year-old daughter, she really likes the chili at Zippy's too. It is good chili. Eddie asks, have you eaten at the Vegas Eiffel Tower before? No, I have not eaten in the Vegas Eiffel Tower before. I really used to enjoy the buffet at the Paris. Unfortunately, that is no longer with us. But I know there are good views from the Eiffel Tower at the Paris. Nico asked beforehand, Chris, what are some of the must-go-to places in Vegas? This could be forever, so I'm going to make it really short. Number 1, you got to walk the Strip. Number 2, visit the Grand Canal Shops at the Venetian. Number 3, you got to visit the Sphere to see the movie there. You got to visit the Fremont Street Experience at night. You got to visit Area 15, and then you got to see the Neon Museum at sunset. Those are some of my suggestions there. Angela asked, what are the best places to go if you're traveling with a kid? This list I got from Gilberto, one of our record winners on shirts, and so this is adapted from a list with Gilberto. Rapid fire, if you've got kids. I intend to make a video on this all, which is why I've got it here, but rapid fire, it is the Shark Reef Aquarium at the Mandalay Bay, the free train that you can ride from the Excalibur to Luxor to the Mandalay Bay, the roller coaster at the New York, New York, the Hershey store at New York, New York, crossing the Brooklyn Bridge at the New York, New York, the Bellagio Conservatory, the fountains at the Bellagio, the dinosaur safari at the Horseshoe and the arcade there, going up in the Eiffel Tower to see the view at the Paris, the Coca-Cola and the M&M stores, seeing the canals at the Venetian, the Wax Museum at Madame Tussauds, the High Roller Ferris wheel at the Link, the flamingos at the Flamingo Hotel Wildlife Habitat, the volcano at the Mirage, the Marvel's Avenger Station at Treasure Island while it's there before it's closed, the Lake of Dreams show at the Wynn, and finally the circus shows at the Circus Circus, the Midway Games, and the Adventure Dome. So there you go. Those are some of the best things to do if you are in Vegas with kids. All right. Robert says, when will they start building the new Hard Rock Hotel at the Mirage? Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I feel like when they announced the Hard Rock Hotel, everybody was like, Volcano's going to be gone. F1 killed it. Volcano's back again. So they're going to build the guitar tower, but, plans, permits, blah, 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 blah. All takes time. So I don't think there's a real date there. John says, why don't more hotels have a personal mini fridge so that they can get you to spend money on the mini bar? That's why. I mean, it's really a business decision that they want you to buy those expensive things from the mini bar. If they let you cool your own beverages, you won't buy their cold beverages. It's annoying. I hate it, right? And that's another one where this is where I can appreciate the newer hotels. That's why I can appreciate Resorts World. That's why I can appreciate Fontainebleau that provide mini fridges in the room in addition to the mini bar, where they're like, we're going to treat you like adults instead of like babies that try to fleece every single dollar out of you. Yeah. And, I should have added this one to the list too, Peter. Thank you very much. The Pinball Hall of Fame Museum across the Mandalay Bay. Great for kids, family too. Great for yours truly, the big kid right here. Phil says, have you been to the Pinball Museum? Of course, I love the Pinball Museum. I have a walking tour of the Pinball Museum. I didn't make it on this trip. I really wanted to, but I ran out of time with all of the other stuff I was shooting. In Windy City Elevator says, were you able to catch the Volcano show? Absolutely, I did. I had to see it because I don't know how much longer I'll be able to see it, and I legitimately think the Volcano show at the Mirage is better than the Fountain show at the Bellagio. There we go. I've said it. It's true. Because, why, Chris? Why is the Mirage Volcano better than the Fountain show? It's so hot. Like, the fire that comes out of that volcano, if you're standing near it, like when they shoot that flame up, you're like, oh my Lord. And you know what? A lot of fountains across the world, but how many volcanoes are there? I mean, real volcanoes, but how many fake volcanoes? The Mirage Volcano is in a league of its own. All right. And, yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and,
yes, it's the time you've been waiting for. It's time for the giveaway.
All right, fellow explorers, every live stream I give away a Yellow Productions crew shirt to a lucky winner who can answer one of my questions. And, my question to you is on this trip to Vegas. What 3 hotels did I stay in? If you can answer that question, you're the first person to put all 3 hotels all in the same line, in the same comment. You will win this Yellow Productions crew shirt shipped to you anywhere in the world. And if you don't get to win one and you want to pick one up, no problem. You can pick one up at the Yellow Productions shop. You'll find a link in the description below. If you're like, Chris, when is the live stream? Probably next week. Date and time to be announced on the Yellow Productions update right here. Join my email list and I'll email you as soon as I announce a live stream. And if you want to support the channel but you don't want to buy a shirt, consider joining as a channel member. Thank you very much to these awesome explorers that help support the quality content here on Yellow Productions. All right, and I see a lot of answers, and I know at least one of them is a winner, so we're going to hit this button. I'm going to go find the first one who gave the right answer. There's a lot in the chat.
And now we have a winner chicken dinner.
Okay, let's see. We've got someone who said win, and Heaven Knows said win in Venetian, but it was missing one. Cal said win in Venetian. A lot of people saying win in Venetian, but here we go. Roman, congratulations. You are the first person to get all 3. I'll give it to you on the spelling of Fontainebleau because it's really hard, but those are the 3 hotels that I stayed at: Venetian, Fontainebleau, and the Wynn. Roman, send me an email. You'll find in the description, chris@yellow-productions.com. Let me know your address and what size of the shirt you want, and I will get it headed right your way. Well, fellow explorers, as usual, it's been super great hanging out with y'all today. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you didn't give this video a thumbs up, please do so on your way out. And as usual, I won't say goodbye because I'll see you in the next video. Still daily videos in January. Come back every day for a new video. Because I've still got more videos in my backlog, so we'll be going through daily videos until I've cleared out everything that I recorded in 2023 so that everything I bring you in 2024 will be new to the new year. Happy New Year all. See you next time.